Recording in progress.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Chuck Baroni, the Conservation Administrator. This meeting will be held in person and remote format consistent with Chapter 2 of the Act of 2023, which further extends the COVID-19 measures regarding remote participation in a public meeting until June 30th, 2027. Please note, not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. This agenda includes those matters that can be reasonably anticipated to be discussed at this meeting. Please note that the meeting will be recorded. All materials are available at the Conservation Division page on the town website. Brian Bowe, the Commission Chair, will facilitate this meeting. Please note that there will be a public comment period at the end of each hearing. Each vote will be taken at this meeting by roll call. We'll begin with roll call attendance. Brian, can you please review the agenda and take attendance?
Sure. Guess we'll start with attendance. There's nobody online, so Walter.
Walter Talbot, present.
Tim?
Tim Michelle, member present.
No?
Joseph Fleury, associate member present.
Rick Keough, member present.
Martha Moore, vice chair, present.
Ryan Rowe, chair, present. Okay, now we'll go over the agenda. We have 3 hearings tonight. The first one, 281 Main Street. Continuation that will actually be continued when we get to it. Well, continuation that we continue further once we get to it. Then Zero Track Road, a continuation of a public hearing on notice of intent, followed by Oakland Road in Birch Meadow, which is continuing a public meeting for request for determination. Then we have some discussion vote items and some old new business. Having said that, why don't we get right to 281 Main Street? At the applicant's request, they want to continue. We need to choose the date of continuance. July 8th, July 22nd are options. Chuck won't be here on July 8th, so I would like to see it go to July 22nd. If people agree, can I have a motion to continue to July 22nd?
I'll make a motion to continue the next meeting to July 22nd.
Walter Talbot seconds. Walter Talbot's in favor.
Tim Michelle in favor.
Rick Keough in favor.
Martha Moore in favor.
Brian Bowe in favor. Okay, thank you. Moving on, Zero Track Road. Is there anybody online for that, Chuck?
Yes, Heidi is here. And can you hear us, Heidi?
Yes, hello, good evening.
Hi, who else is here with you? Just so I make sure I let them in the meeting also.
Yes, also on the call this evening is the project manager, Jeffrey DeNacentis.
Okay,
Okay, both then.
Good evening.
Good evening.
so could one of you briefly cover any new developments? We don't need an overview of the whole project, just anything that's happened since we met last.
Sure, if I can share my screen. Oh, go ahead, Heidi.
No, go ahead, Jeff, you got it.
All right. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Not yet. Coming now.
Okay.
It's up.
So following the last meeting, when we met on May 13th, the hearing was continued, and there were a number of action items for AECOM. We did submit this memo summary on June 8th. I can run through that now. Has the committee had a chance to review the memo that was submitted?
We have had time, if you go through it, but quickly, we don't need to read all the text.
Sure.
just a quick summation.
Sure. The first item, further justifying the project need. So to support this item, the Reading Fire Chief, Police Chief, and DPW have all provided letters of support for the project. Those were attached to the memo.
Yep, have that.
Okay. Item number 2, the project should be filed under 310 CMR 1053-8, replacement of an existing stream crossing, and not 310 CMR 1053-3, improvement of an existing public roadway. This has been refiled under 310 CMR 1053-8 as requested.
Mhm.
The next item was a request to regrade the proposed compensatory flood storage area to protect the existing 20-inch tree. So this is something we've done. We've redesigned the grading. I can share the plan here. You may recall previously the grading envelope encompassed the 20-inch maple shown here towards the bottom of the screen, as well as the 6-inch elm here. We've reconfigured the grading to save both of those trees. Feel that our limit of grading is sufficiently away so that those trees and roots won't be impacted, to satisfy that request.
Can I ask a question before you move on? What are you doing for tree protection around those trees?
We initially were calling to, I believe, reset the, remove and reset in place the 6-inch elm, and the 20-inch. I'm sorry. I think I was pointing towards this one. It's actually this 20-inch deciduous. I think out on site we didn't determine the exact species, but we're not currently calling out specific tree protection details. I think just generally retain. Sometimes, if required, we would call out a specific protection method like a fencing around it. I don't think that was something we had specifically discussed last time. I think our plans and specifications simply call them out to be retained. We could, if protection is required, that's something we could note in the specifications. If there's a method such as fencing that the commission would require.
Yeah, I think you should put something in there. You can assume that people will avoid the trees and the roots, but it's better to ensure that they do, because you can't go back and fix it afterwards.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
The next item was provide turbidity curtains, details, specs and requirements. So we've provided a copy of the special provision, as well as a detail in the revised plans. I'll go to that now. So this detail was provided. This detail is also part of the construction plan set. And I have a copy of the specs that were provided here. If you'd like to take a look, I'm not sure that if we'd like to go through those in detail. In addition to the turbidity barrier specification that's specific to that item, there's additional mention of the turbidity barrier requirements in the concrete excavation specification. I've highlighted relevant portions here just to, I don't know that we need to read through these in detail, but just to show that they are included.
Right, so let's leave that for now, and perhaps there'll be a question on it, but we can move forward.
Oh, bring that,
Chuck has one.
Joe, hold on a second. Can you bring that down, just to see? You moved it just before I was reading the who's review. I saw our engineering department. I was looking for, said, conservation department also. It's gonna have some say over whether they agree with the turbidity curtain. It's not there. It's one of your highlighted areas.
So- Sorry, you were, I'm sorry, my audio isn't great tonight. You were asking for the turbidity barrier specification?
Yeah, and it was highlighted. So guess keep scrolling until we find that spot.
There was something
Sure.
on maintaining the barriers. It was that page.
In the, okay,
That
Yeah, right
one.
here,
Right there,
right
yeah.
there.
right in here. So this is the part that's part of the, I'll scroll up here for a second, the concrete excavation specification. So just noting within that specification that turbidity barriers will be required associated with that work. So there's some mention in detail here, but then the specific turbidity barrier specification is the separate item. So this is calling out where it's required, what work it's associated with.
Go down just the next paragraph.
Sure. I think this is part of what was discussed previously. So calling for the contractor to maintain turbidity curtains and or barriers in good operating condition, acceptable to the engineer and Department of Environmental Protection. Calls for repair or replacement if required.
Yeah, so you're gonna add in the Reading Conservation Commission and you can take out,
Yes.
you can take out DEP if you want, if you need the room, but you can leave all three in, but I don't think DEP is showing up to review the turbidity curtain. But yeah, I'd like to have conservation in there. Have you put in engineering review anywhere else and skipped over conservation review in this? Now that I see that we were missed here.
I'm thinking if there's anywhere else where that would be mentioned. I don't believe so. I don't
You
believe
can
there's
check-
any other instances where
You can
it's
check quickly by
either is
doing,
called.
you can check quickly by doing Control F and enter an engineer. And theoretically, that should show this pretty quickly. At least we can see how many instances.
Right.
A lot of engineers.
So this is,
We just have to- Instead of going through this, we might want
Yeah, I was just hoping it'd be a small number.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, never mind, we can go back to where we were.
should be a condition to review it and make those changes.
there's a total of 17. I believe we're within the yeah, the same couple of, so this is only an excerpt from the entire special provisions here, with just the mentions of turbidity barrier. I can make a note to review the entire project specifications, and anywhere where we do call for engineer review or approval, to make note to also include the Conservation Commission.
Yes, please.
Okay.
May not have heard, but we're gonna make that a condition, so that'll help remind you.
Provide other mitigation options besides planting of new trees or shrubs. The point was made at the last meeting that there was concern in general with new trees or shrubs, plantings, and that the preference was to use a seeding mix. So we have removed proposed trees and shrubs from the project and replaced with New England wildflower mix for seeding. And the plans have been made consistent with that revision.
I'm curious which trees and shrubs you're removing.
So we had proposed just a handful of plantings, top of slope, and I'll refer back. So we had these areas with the stepped slopes, and we had shown some plantings there. I think it was noted previously that on the other related project and similar situations that those plantings weren't, at least initially, successful. There were some issues with maintenance and getting them enough water. So we had talked about, generally in the vicinities of on those step slopes and at the top of slopes, we had previously shown some plantings, and those have been removed.
All right, you can go ahead.
The next item was provide a detail and MassDOT standard spec for a remove and reset tree. We have included, we do have a specification and we do have a detail. And essentially that detail is very similar to the planting of a new tree, but we also note if required. So the plans no longer call for removing and resetting of a tree. As we mentioned, we're now able to save the one tree that this would have applied to by grading around it for the compensatory storage area. But as a contingency, we are including it in case there's some issue during construction and removal and resetting is required. So we do have this transplanted tree specification that was provided. And we do have a detail for it as well that's included in the plan set.
I noticed that you put shredded black mulch as a option there. I prefer not to use dyed mulch if we can avoid it.
Okay. I'll make a note. We can make that revision.
Okay,
The next item was provide the hydraulic report. A copy was provided for reference. Not sure if the commission had any follow-up comments or questions.
Section 8, I believe the tree policy requires 3 growing seasons now.
we're still on 7.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
It sounds like there were no comments or questions on the hydraulic report, so we
Not
can
seeing
move
it.
to number 8. The tree guarantee policy, 1 year versus 3.
The tree policy was just recently updated. It requires 3 growing seasons.
I think we can't use that one because that was
Before that.
issued after this was submitted, so I think we have to go with what was in effect at that point. Okay, you can go ahead.
That brings us to the end of our list of the continued items. If the commission has any additional thoughts or comments on the documents that were submitted.
I'm looking. Chuck, do you have anything?
I don't.
Okay. So it sounds like there's no additional questions, comments from the commission. Is there anything from anybody in the public that's online? Doesn't seem to be. So at this point, then, can I have a motion to close on Zero Track Road?
I move to close the hearing on Zero Track Road.
Walter Talbot seconds. Walter Talbot's in favor.
Tim Michelle in favor.
Rick Keough in favor.
Martha Moore in favor.
Brian Bowe in favor. So now we list conditions. There was the one about adding tree protection, explicitly in the plans. There was one about reviewing throughout the plans for any place that you involve in engineering. You need to be sure to add Conservation Commission to those instances. And then no dyed mulch. That's all I had. Anybody else have any?
In our last meeting, we discussed daily inspection of the curtains.
by the project people, yeah. Okay, anything else? Chuck, did anything else you had?
No, not at this moment.
Okay, so that's conditions, so then this is
Oh, I do have one more, sorry.
at the time.
There was a question sent to me by a member of the public about whether there will be room for wildlife to pass under the bridge above the water line so that they don't have to go up and over the road to cross.
Yes,
Plan,
we,
part of the plan.
yes, the bridge doesn't meet all the stream crossing standards. However, there is sufficient height and width generally for wildlife to pass.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
okay, then can I have a motion to,
So this is also subject to our boilerplate conditions,
Yeah.
which cover erosion control and things like that, which I just want to add to the record.
yeah, these were just the special conditions, I guess. Is the way to phrase it. So can I have a motion to issue order of conditions for Zero Track Road?
I move to issue an order of conditions for Zero Track Road.
Walter Talbot seconds, Walter Talbot's in favor.
Tim Michelle in favor.
Rick Keefe in favor.
Martha Moore in favor.
Brian Bowe in favor. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Okay, moving on. Open Road and Birch Meadow, NRDA. Anybody online for that?
Yes, I'm just waiting for this screen to be
Nope.
cleared and then I can. Jeff, you working on taking down that screen?
Yes, I apologize
Sorry.
when I shared my other screen.
I was afraid you had just left.
Yeah.
Is someone else able to retake control?
Let me see if I can,
I apologize. I'm looking for a way to do this.
Stop sharing up in the top middle is usually the
Oh.
answer.
there you go.
Sorry about that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
All right, so we're gonna bring in Michael. And we're ready to go.
Hello, are you there, Michael?
Yep, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Okay, can you briefly cover any changes since we met last? We don't need a full recap.
And before you do that, but anyone else here with you tonight, I need to let into the
Yep.
meeting?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Michael Joa is here with MassDOT Environmental.
Sure, thank you.
I apparently was just trying to cut him out.
Yeah. That's right. Okay,
Okay, go ahead, Michael.
Awesome. Yep, so since the last meeting, I followed up on a couple of items that were left over from the first hearing. And we also had a meeting in the field on Monday, June 22nd to walk the site and discuss some of those items. The first item was related to the maintenance and sediment management of the existing drainage system throughout the project through the outfalls. So I responded to that question, stating that since the project's located on town-owned roads and maintained by the town, removal of sediment is a general responsibility of town maintenance practices. The contract will carry items for sediment removal through the contract in the event that the town does not do the sediment removal themselves, and that will cover the removal of sediment throughout the project limits for the existing drainage system. Also, before any earth disturbing activities The contractor will be placing sediment erosion control measures such as silt sacks and compost filter tubes throughout the project limits to prevent any sediment from entering the system.
Okay,
Item
Was
2
there-
that was discussed.
Mike, I would just say, we talked about this on site. Is there a note in there that they're responsible for removing it?
For removing,
For
yeah, we
their
can,
erosion control.
yep, we will include a note on the plans for the removal of the erosion control at the end of the project.
do we want to set a duration? No. Okay. Go ahead, Michael.
Well, I would assume the town's looking for a certificate of compliance, but, you know, prior to the certificate of compliance being issued, you know, something like that. We would put that in the order of conditions that, remove the erosion control.
Okay. Yeah, that shouldn't be an issue as an additional condition.
Wait a minute, actually, it was, sorry, I just, want to make sure the commission's on the correct page. This is a request for determination, so we don't have that same kind of review
Right,
at the
we
end.
can do some,
Yeah,
not a
but
full set of conditions.
we can't hold it over their head, so if Mike puts it in, his contract, that would be best.
Yep, we'll include that.
Okay, go ahead, Mike.
Yep. The second item that we discussed was regarding the management of invasives adjacent to the project. And we had noted that we'll carry notes on the contract for the contractor to dispose of any soil adjacent to locations where invasives are present, for that soil to be disposed of off-site and not to be reused within the site. Those locations will be identified on the plans so that the contractor is aware of them. And those notes will be carried on the plans for the contractor's awareness.
Okay. No drinking allowed.
Caught me there.
Go ahead.
And I think the one other item we had discussed on site was regarding the protection of existing trees within the project limits, those that are to be retained within the proximity of construction. We'll be carrying the standard MassDOT tree protection items throughout the project. And then we're also, as discussed, identifying the types of tree protection. So if it's armoring or fence along the drip lines, that will be identified within the contract documents, as well as the maintenance of tree roots where excavation is present within the drip lines of the existing trees. So we'll have items to carry things like air pruning and notes to identify hand excavation in those areas where roots are potentially present.
Michael, can you cite the section in the MassDOT's policies for this tree protection? Is that possible? You can send it to me. I just wanted to note that.
Yeah, we can send you. They're all standard MassDOT landscape specs, so they're standard to most contracts. I can send you the language that's included with those. We'd also
So
recently.
The question is how to pinpoint it in a condition. That's what the reason why I'm asking. So like as per MassDOT tree protection specs, seems a little vague, but as far as looking for a little
It'd
bit
be
more
better
of
if you
that.
had a section, paragraph, whatever format it is.
Yep.
So you can
One
send.
second. Yeah, there's several items that cover the tree protection stuff. It would be section 102 in their standard special provisions. There's 8 to 10 items that we'll be carrying as needed throughout the project.
Good. Okay, anything else?
I believe those 3 items covered most of our discussions for this one.
Yep, that's what I had too. Okay, any questions, comments from the commission?
Just to say, at the site visit, we were able to see where the drainage system empties, and it empties into that stream that's just on the far side of Birch Meadow Drive. And we had a discussion of the new deep sumps are going to have patches in them to prevent plastic bottles and stuff like that from washing into the stream, and sediment will be able to be cleaned out of those. They're the new design are gonna be what they're putting in, right?
Yes, all new structures will be installed with deeper sumps, per the latest regulations.
Yeah, so it's just deep sump. I don't know where the plastic part comes in, and I don't remember that.
Oh.
So
I was assuming somehow they would catch the,
just from the
Street
storm
runoff.
drain grate, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
okay,
Do
Well,
they
there's
use-
another,
Sorry,
we can
go ahead.
have, sorry, there are hoods also as part of the structures, which, as the water fills up, prevents surface elements from flowing through the system. That are part of the current design. So those will be installed within the structures.
okay. So it does include straining the surface floaters. That would be
Yeah,
good.
Yes.
if they float. Yeah,
Okay,
okay.
Okay, looking for any other questions from the commission? Chuck, do you have anything?
Yeah, as part of this policy, would we be notified by the contractor 60 days before they start? Is that part of the contract also? I mean, we would like to know that. 100% you're gonna let the school know. It's just that I just want to make sure the Conservation Commission knows about the start of this project.
Yeah, we can include that. The town will be notified. So through DPW, town manager, and all the like, we can include the commission on the list as well in terms of contacts. But the town and will be requested to be part of the pre-construction meeting because this is on town-owned roadways. A lot of times that includes police, fire. So
Mhm.
generally that's just more than just the town manager, DPW.
So if you have that list of people to contact written down somewhere, can you write in conservation so it's not something that has to be remembered, it's just part of the process?
Yeah, I think he's also talking about our DRT meeting, which would probably be one of the first things that happens. But beyond that, if there was, prior to the DRT meeting, this is coming up in the next couple of months. I want to be on that list. I want to know
So I just want to document it
Yeah.
as opposed to being
to
somebody.
expect
remembering.
things to come in.
Yeah, we can include the commission on the list of
Great,
people to contact.
thank you.
Generally, we have a list of, like, I think town manager, DPW, police, fire. So there's several people on that list for the contractor to coordinate with.
The only other question we talked out there, we talked about the soil, and I understand that any soil that's removed will be tested and then it will be taken off site. And the Japanese knotweed that's all over there, was there a note needed to put in the contract that any cuttings from the Japanese knotweed will also be removed from site?
We can include that in terms of including it with the soil removal as well.
Yeah, it's just in case it's done at kind of flowering time of year, so.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. Chance, anything from the commission? Any comments from the public online?
Let me check. You use your raise hands function, so there's reaction tools. And you can use the raise hand function to get our attention. Seeing none?
Okay. Then can I have a motion to close the hearing on Open Road in Birch Meadow?
oh, Oh, yeah, it's under conditions. I move to close the hearing on the project at Oakland Road at Birch Meadow Drive.
Walter Talbot seconds, and Walter Talbot's in favor.
Tim Michelle in favor.
Rick Keough in favor.
Martha Moore in favor.
Brian Bowe in favor. Okay, I realize this is an RDA. We just have a few things we'd like to request you to do. So first one I had was a note on erosion control removal before the certificate of compliance. Do you need more on the tree protection, Chuck, or is that section 102?
No, I think that's
sufficient?
covered.
Okay,
And it's not before certificate of compliance. It's just upon completion,
fair enough.
because there is no COC.
Good point. Okay, upon completion. Then a note on removing the cuttings of the Japanese knotweed. That's all I had. Anybody else have any other ones?
I have a note that I made at our site visit that we should also ask them to contact the tree warden about the project.
Right, about
So then we were talking that over, so specifically the tree warden may not need to be contacted, but if they contact DPW,
Yeah,
that's
then that'll go
that's
through
where
to
we
you.
fell on that,
Okay.
to make sure the DPW knew.
And the other condition I made a note of at the site visit was that the sumps would be cleaned out by either the DPW or the contractor before the project starts.
And they talked
all
about
new
that.
Sumps will be 4 feet. And I think we talked about that as well.
We
So
talked
do
about the
those
full
need to
fee.
be conditions or just we discussed them?
No, Michael said as part of the contract that the contractor or the town will remove all the sediment in the system prior to starting,
Okay.
and they're responsible for it.
Okay, anything
I
else?
think the way it worked was
this-
if the town doesn't do it, then the contractor will do it, which is great.
And then soil will be removed to off-site from
Yeah.
near the
Chuck
invasives.
asked about
And I heard that was a condition also that's gonna be, so
Okay.
we seem to only have two.
that. And did you have anything, Mr.?
No, no,
Then can I have a motion for a negative determination for Oakland Road?
I move that we issue a negative determination of applicability for the Oakland Road project.
Walter Talbot seconds, Walter Talbot's in favor.
Tim Michelle in favor.
Rick Keough in favor.
Martha Moore in favor.
Brian Bowe in favor. Okay, thank you.
thanks, Michael.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Okay, so next, that's it for hearings tonight. So next.
That's just a reminder. Number 4 is just a reminder.
Yeah, okay. So this has to do with the certificate, request for certificate of compliance, which has already been continued to August 12th. So we don't do anything on that tonight. Next one is we need to approve the purchase of lumber from Reading Lumber in the amount of $493.
Can you say from the conservation donation account?
Correct. So that will be paid out of the conservation donation account.
I'll make a motion to approve the $84.93 from the donation account,
Yeah, sure.
conservation donation account.
Yeah, and just to let everyone know, it was for hose connections and hose to water the Habitat Gardens in Bear Meadow.
Walter Talbot seconds that motion, Walter Talbot's in favor.
Tim Michelle in favor.
Rick Keough in favor.
Martha Moore in favor.
Brian Bowe in favor. Okay, next is old new business. So the first tranche of appointments have gone out. I still want to point out that we always are looking for more because we're greedy. So if there's somebody out there who may have an interest, especially if they have skills such as anything environmental law, anything like that, it would be greatly appreciated. If in fact you wanted to join, I would gladly make room for you. But seriously, we always need some more energetic people to add to the commission.
And I think there are still openings for associate members.
That is correct.
You don't have to
We
kick
two.
anybody off.
No, I was hoping that was the way out. So anyways, yeah, yes, we do have two current openings for associate members. Essentially, an associate member partakes in the same activities as full members, just they don't have a vote. It's actually good training, good way to get people involved. And then they can decide whether they want to step up or not when the time comes, and they get a sense of how we do things. You have a question, comment?
In light of what I've heard, which my hearing sometimes stinks, do we still have an opening for a voting member?
No, that was filled. I'm not gonna say the name until, at least I know it's official from the town, but our one opening, we've had an appointment.
Good.
And the term starts the first meeting in July. Okay. So then, Friends and Family Day. I will do a quick summation and then ask for input from the people who were there. First, rumination, windy. Yeah, it seems like it's always true with that field, windy. Some tents did in fact blow over, ours did not this year, which was good. Perhaps because of the extra water jugs that Martha brought to give us some extra ballast. I also will point out that we had a good number of members to show up for at least part of the time to cover things. Martha, Walter, Joe, Chirag, and I were there. I must also confess, I arrived late for the setup. I won't go into that. We did have better traffic than we've had in the past, at least in part, I think, to the exhibit, if you will, that Martha put together. She had 5 different kinds of invasive plants with a piece of paper identifying them and asking people to match. That was good for pulling in people, pulling in kids, but also pulling in adults. And then you have a chance to talk. We did have a few pretty in-depth conversations with residents. 1 or 2 of them may in fact have an interest in joining us. We'll see. Conversation of Friends and Family Day is one thing, but it's still good conversations.
The tattoos were popular.
The tattoos were popular. They are really good tattoos, I must say. They give a really sharp image. Although everybody, for some reason, resisted my suggestion and put them on your forehead. But no, that was good. Anything else you want to add, Martha?
No,
Walter? Joseph?
We had a couple of good conversations with the Mystic River Watershed Association as well. They were looking to take on a bunch of stormwater drainage projects in town locally, and I was talking with one of the representatives there. Might be worthwhile having them in for 15 minutes just to kind of give an overview of kind of how they're tackling the stormwater management in wetlands. But no, it was a good event, very windy. I think Trails almost lost their tent a couple times, but that was good.
I think, yeah. It was windy, enough said.
Yeah.
So we're gonna put in requests next year for zephyrs and not breezes. Okay, anything else on that before we move
just
on?
make a note. I'll bring more jugs next year. That really
Martha,
helps
Martha
save the
will
tent.
bring more water. Okay. Chuck, anything you want to say about the DPW coordination meeting?
Yeah, no, I think the coordination meeting is going well. It's turned into a just kind of show up at the other guy's desk and talk about whatever happens. We're still having the meetings, but it's more of a anytime a problem happens, we'll just find each other at one another's desk to talk it over. So it's moving good. I don't see any issues. I mean, I think one of the issues way back in the day, and it's still here, is that we never hear about the DPW projects. It's like it never comes up. And that's still the case. And so they're, I don't know if they're not planning these projects, which I would suspect is not the case. But the ask is that we know about the projects that are kind of in the pipeline for the next couple of weeks, or at least till the next meeting, so we can be aware of them and no one's surprised when they're driving around town or we're called by residents. So outside of that, the other things about helping each other out and allowing permits and getting things as small as wood chips, it's been fantastic. And I think Mike Hannaford's been very helpful this year. He's always very helpful with the volunteers. And there's a little bit more about Mike coming up later, so I'll just save the rest, but no further comments about that.
Okay. Then we can get the violation notices. The one in particular I want to talk about is 38 Bond Street. That's been on here since before you people joined. So some background, some context. 38 Bond Street, previous commission, so before Martha or I were on it, there was a violation noted. That person's shed is actually on conservation land. And so at that point, the agreement with the property owner was that it could stay there until he either sold or passed on. Well, he has now passed on, last year, in fact. So it's time to follow up on that. I went by a week and a half ago at this point, a week ago. Knocked on the door, person came to the door who was not the property owner, he's a renter. So I explained why it was there. We went to the backyard to look over the situation. There were a number of things. First of all, the shed is there. The idea of moving it, it's up to them, of course, but it's gonna be taken down because it's already falling down. But either way, it can't stay there. Additionally, if Chuck were to bring up the aerial view, you would see that in front of the shed, there's grass and it's being mown. Additionally, the renter, just 2 weeks ago now, put in, I'm gonna call it a lawn structure. It's like a little bird bath with some mulch around it and what have you, right in the 25-foot. He clearly didn't know. So I talked to him about the fact that he would have to remove that. So while I was there, we did find the granite bound. It actually is on the property for the next door, but it's still right on the property line. You can see it very clearly. And there are a few other things that I noted on the back right. There's a fenced-in garden plot, if you will, which extends too far towards the wetlands away. So at least the back few feet of it, I didn't measure, but the back few feet of it are going to have to be addressed. So I think at this point, we have to decide on next steps. I'm going to recommend the next step is to send the actual property owner a letter reminding him that it's time. And I would like him to come here. The things I just went through, we can talk to him face to face. Additionally, that 25-foot indentation, I think that should have a buffer put in for it, where it's currently mowing the grass, to actually get back the 25-foot buffer for the no disturb zone. But these things I think are better talked about in person. So my recommendation would be that we ask Chuck, send him a letter and have him come in to talk it over at a future meeting. Any discussion, any other ideas on that? That's like a reasonable approach.
So this, what you're looking at shows the property, but if Brian didn't let you know that not only is this wetland on the other side of the green line, which is this property, it's conservation land. So that's all, yeah, and this is something they agreed to. So I think
Yeah,
sending a
is
letter
telling
and
them
just
it's
asking
time.
to revisit this situation is appropriate at this time.
Did the property change hands or is it the same owner?
It's
or
now
they-
in the son's hands.
Okay, so they have an idea of, you would think.
Yeah, and I believe Chuck said the son was involved back when they had the original
So it's, you know,
discussion, so.
Yeah, the son came to the meeting with his father.
So it's not a completely new owner and he had no idea. This guy knows.
Yes, that's my understanding. The same owner would be the same son that came to the meeting that night.
And does this piece of conservation land have a name?
Yeah, this is the wetland to the Millet Psalms Morgan property.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So is that all right? For
Fine.
you don't need a vote or anything, just all right, general approval. Good, thank you. That's all I have on violations tonight. Our next item is one that's actually not on here. A quick recap of our site visit to the trail on the property at Johnson Woods. This will be part of a future certificate of compliance. At this point, we were walking it over to check it out and give them feedback on how they're doing so far. So a number of us showed up. Chuck actually started at an end where we didn't, and he met us basically partway in. We met the representative, Jim Davidson. I'm gonna call it a third of the way through. We went down to where the trail crossed over and walked the rest of the way with Chuck. There were a few suggestions. There are some signs that need to be clearer. We want additional wood chips to make the trail more obvious. This obviously is going through a condo. I know condo townhouses, you know what I mean? It goes on common property, but it does in cases look like it's somebody's backyard. So we want to make sure it looks like it is official, like people are allowed to walk on it, they're comfortable walking on it, and they don't feel discouraged by where it appears to run in somebody's backyard. Additionally, when we walk to the end of it, it comes very close to land owned by Reading Open Land Trust. So we had a conversation about bringing it a little bit further to the end of the property where it can connect with existing trails over and Reading Open Land Trust, which would be a big win. So at this point, they took notes, plus whatever Chuck took, on the things that they need to do to get it in final shape. And at some point when that's done, I presume there'll be a follow-up visit. I don't know if that would be separate like this or in conjunction with some kind of a COC, but either way, there will be another visit. Anything else I missed there, Chuck?
Yeah, but so I think we should keep this conversation to you and me and not get any input. Yeah, because it's not on the agenda. That's why we want to be careful with where we're going with this. So I suggest that notes did come in. I thought I sent them out to the commission, but let's get this on the agenda, review the notes at that meeting, add some edits and comments and send them back. And if there are any, you know, and then go from there. But I do think that we should look at this and review the notes. The notes just came in, you know.
Yeah, we're going to the
So-
walk Monday. So.
I'll put this on the next agenda
Okay,
and go from there.
then that brings us to item 10, administrative report. Back to you, Jeff.
Yeah, so we had noticed last week that a tree fell down at Millet Psalms in Morgan. This is the biggest, a big tree, a significant tree that is probably first thing that's happened at our flagship park and conservation area since it was opened. And I got a call about 6 o'clock in the morning from our pollinator guy letting me know that there was an issue, and I put in a C-click fix. I think others did also, but I only we communicated on mine because I have an internal route to forestry, and let them know what was going on, put in a few pictures, went there first thing. Mike said he would develop a plan, which he had available by Monday, Tuesday. And if it's Wednesday, yeah, it was Tuesday. So had that plan together on Tuesday, that what he was gonna do, the times that he was gonna do it, and just about how long that the work would take. So we met out on site, we reviewed what he was going to do, and I went back this morning because there was some other trees that needed to be discussed. It was brought up by Joe as a reminder. And I showed him those trees. He was able to take care of, took down the tree that was hung up, the big tree, the original issue. And then he trimmed up some other trees and took down at least the one, was there, or was it two?
Two.
Saw the
Near
one at the end of the
Bridge.
long boardwalk.
Yeah, there was two separate.
Oh,
cuts
and it
that
was the
were
one
waived.
next to it. Yeah, he mentioned there was a smaller one that showed some decay and he wanted to take it down. But this was like a 3 or 4 inch tree. It wasn't a very big tree. And I think they were finished by noon, and cleanup looked pretty good from what I heard. He reached out to me and Jane at the end of the day, and I had another conversation with me, him and Jane. And I was very happy with how this went, how the departments communicated with each other, and how this proceeded, I think, as quick as it possibly could have happened. There was even an incident where I was running down to the DPW to get something to block the trail and some caution tape, and I got a email from Mike saying that he had already done that, or he just finished doing it. So I was like, oh, wow, great. So that's my report. I just want to say thanks to the forestry department, and thanks to Mike Hannaford for helping out and taking care of this so quickly.
Questions, comments?
Just one additional comment. So he did leave 2 of the trees, the smaller trees, kind of off to the side in the wetlands. So
Oh, take
that
them
will
down.
decay, naturally. And then I think the large tree, I believe that was just ground down. They were taking it in chunks,
Yeah.
off-site. So, but they did leave 2 of the.
Is that question about whether to leave them or take them out of there? Because
No,
we
I
could,
just, it comes up in a lot of our other discussions of whether or not they leave the trees in place or have a snack or something like that. But those 2 smaller trees are just gonna decay on site.
are they in a good spot, or should we evaluate them to see if they need to be moved or
We
moved?
may want to
out of
move them
sight?
away from some of the new plantings that we had. But they're in a pretty good spot.
They're in a pretty
Is
good
it
spot.
small enough that we can move them, or you could move them yourselves?
I would say 1 or 2 volunteers could probably at
Because
least
it's-
roll it
I
or move
thought they
it.
were small.
Yeah, they're relatively small, so
Okay, so we don't need to
Yeah.
bring anybody in.
everything else looks great. So.
Right, good.
I'm gonna just give a shout out to our Next Step Ministry volunteers. They're over at Warren Ave right now. We have a kiosk up. We have a trailhead by the DPW that was done last year. We have 100 feet of boardwalk, a bridge that's over 20 feet long. And we're going to be putting in another, I'm gonna call it a bog bridge because it's elevated on top of those black corrugated culvert pipes. And they're gonna be building that. So that'll happen by the end of next week. We should be pretty close to being finished with that bridge and then on the trail. And all along, they've been wood chipping and clearing trails when they became bored with other things. So they've been able to walk through a few of the trails at Pinevale and cut back some of the brush. So, it's an incredible group of young people out there doing some really hard work. And they never say They never say quit, even in the rain and in the heat, they're always out there. So I just want to say definitely thanks to them, and I asked them to send us in some pictures for our Facebook page. I was gonna say FB page. but-
So he talked about a Facebook page. Our intern is currently putting a Facebook page together. The first draft is available. But it has to be populated more. How are we doing for wood chips on site? Do you need more?
There's we went through, 2 dump trucks. This is 10-yard dump trucks, 10 to 14 yards. So I've had 2 of those dumped off. There's still some at Maple Street. I'm not asking for any more because I think that will finish it up.
Okay.
They're not doing the entire trail. We're just doing the little area that we're doing, and a new entrance in from Maple is what we're going to do. The last thing that I'm gonna talk about is that I've been saying this a couple times. We've lost some turtles over at Mill Street, and that's where the Abidjana crosses the Mill Street. And we ordered these signs, careful turtle crossing. It took 3 weeks to come in from Amazon. It was unbelievable. I think we lost 2 turtles during that time. I'm not saying signs always help, but we did lose 2 additional turtles during that time. So I was able to work with one of our Trails Committee members today, Will Finch. Sign came in, I went out with one, that's all I had. And I got some poles and we put them up, one on one side of the bridge. I went back and I was gonna meet them later. The other signs came in. We put the rest of them up. So now there's a sign on both ends of the bridge, very visible, letting people know that you have to be careful because of turtle crossings. Apparently, there's just too many rocks underneath the Mill Street Bridge and they can't manage that. So they're just actually, you can almost see a trail. They're coming up the bank and they're crossing the road and it's on a curve, so it's hard to see.
Are we allowed to do anything about the rocks under the bridge?
You know what,
I don't know.
it might be, it could be the rocks, it could be just, where they feel like they need to go.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I think you could move some of the rocks. I don't think you could take them out of the stream.
I don't
But
need one.
I think we'd have to, see a turtle and see where it's going.
Yeah.
But Will might have some more ideas on that since he lives very close and has,
But at
kept an
least
eye on it.
if we made a channel easier, at least gives them the option. They may still choose to go up, but
Like what I was asking about for Track Road. A path under the bridge that the
Right,
wildlife could
exactly.
travel.
yeah. Yeah, so, they swim up, they hit kind of a shallow rocky area. And maybe the current isn't working for them. So I'm not sure.
well,
Let's
if
talk
if
to
you
Will a
do,
little bit
do
more.
remember to talk to Will, you might as well think about that. I mean, check them up on the road is one thing, trying to find a way they don't go on the road. is the next.
Yeah, so we would have to reach out to the conservation agent in North Reading also, just to make sure we're in tune with, the bridge is like half North Reading, half Reading.
Do we need to contact Ipswich River?
Not for this.
Okay, now I'll put that aside for now. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. Minutes for approval. We have the first one, 5/27, that's it. So can I have a motion to approve the minutes for 5/27?
I move to approve the minutes from May 27th.
We just got them.
No, we just got June 10th.
Oh, we got revised already at 5/27.
So did we straighten out, which was, those were the ones I got yesterday. They're the true June 27 or May 27.
Yes,
There was that confusion.
There was a confusion,
they-
but you straightened it out, right?
right. She changed the.
She changed it and sent them back out.
Okay,
Along with other comments.
I second the motion and I approve.
Michelle in favor.
Rick Keel in favor.
Martha Moore in favor.
I'm in favor. Okay, and that's you on behalf for approval.
Because June 10th has come, but just recently.
Exactly.
So we need more time to read that.
Yeah. And then she's going to have to update it anyway, depending on what there is. Okay, So is there anything else before we adjourn? No?
Oh, we have zero money left in our account. We've happily spent all of it, and the Trails Committee spent all of their money also. So this last 2 weeks have been really, really tough.
Because you have a project you're working on and no money to spend it.
Well,
spend on it.
we had, the Materia cabin was chock full of supplies. We had 4x4s and 2x6s and 2x12s and all these, fasteners and things like that. We had so much, and then we had a donation of decking, which is outside. And we had decking also, so we had purchased. It's gonna be all cleaned out. It's gonna be amazing. That place is those shelves are gonna be empty.
It's the only downside of a volunteer crew that works fast.
I just think we have to keep it in mind. I mean, the Conservation Commission, I've asked before for you to help me fill the gap. You've done that last year. You didn't need to do it this year. It's a conversation that I need to have with the Trails Committee, but I'm having it with you also. Have to make sure that we have supplies. It's that combination of end of fiscal year, can't have any money, need to spend it all, but have the supplies available. We had a safety project, but we never got to it because we really haven't run out of supplies, which is they're going to, I don't know if it's like restaining or waterproofing, but the pavilion's going to get a new coat of waterproofing. And that material, because it's a town building, is paid for by facilities, so I only needed to provide labor. So that was my stopgap, project. But I'll get it done, but it doesn't have to be, I only have 2 days left, actually.
So is this where a donation fund might come into play?
This is where the donation, well, we only needed that $83 for the hose stuff.
For like a lock, for example, on a kiosk or something along those lines.
Or
if we
even
have
just
a
going
budget.
forward
Oh,
in general.
that kiosk was able to be fixed, so
I'm
that
just
lock
saying,
is
like,
fine.
in general though, can that donation fund be used to cover?
100%, the donation, so the donation fund is someone donated us money to do conservation, anything that's for conservation purposes. So as long as I get the chair's approval and then followed up by the commission's approval, we're all set to use that money also.
And is that process identified that, like, if anybody in town wants to donate to that fund, they know clearly where to go to donate?
So that's a great point. I think we're stuck in a discussion about how vocal we can be about our gift account and our donation account. So like the League of Women Voters always gives a gift to the Trails Committee. And so I don't know how they connected and why that happens all the time, but they appreciate that gift. They're able to use that gift for trail building. And so that's what it was meant for. But we are working on that process and don't know where it's at this point. It's off my hands. I put something together and I sent it to Jane, but that was only to kind of say, we're moving along. There was a discussion about having someone put some graphics on it, which I know is being worked on. And so it looks like the graphics could go together, it could be approved, it needs to go to town council, and then it would have a spot on our website. I don't know, there's a little confusion about listing things and not listing things because directing people creates a problem about the request. Doesn't seem voluntary, and then having them. So these are some of the conversations, like having someone say this money is specifically for X creates a different problem. So generally donations would be best, but those are the questions we're working through, and that's really not in my wheelhouse. That's going to be for Jane and for
Best
town council.
donation is one for conservation things in general, and then we would use it as appropriate.
Yeah.
So not earmarked, if you will.
Yeah, for all conservation purposes would be great, but, yeah. It is moving along, and you know that Jane even mentioned it at the select board meeting, so she is on board.
And did our budget for next year get approved?
It did.
Okay, so you'll have money to spend as of July 1st?
I will, yeah, no, I'll have all that money, to spend on projects, as allocated in the budget request.
Right, so we had a number of items.
Right, so this, you've used up all the money and Next Step volunteers have used up all the materials is about a 1 week issue, because after July 1st, there will be more money. in the
As of
pot.
today is about a 1 week issue. It's been about a 3 week issue.
Yeah.
So I really want to do some planning next year and make sure that we have something to fall back on. It's tough to drag the kids off a building project. They love it out there, and to say, hey, well, I want you to spread out, wood chips instead of coming here tomorrow. Isn't the greatest. I mean, it would be the best if it was, well, at the end of this week, that group goes away. And the beginning of the following week, we're spreading wood chips because, there's no money, but I would prefer to just buy the stuff in advance. Like my conversation with the Trails Committee would be, I think we need about, maybe another 50 feet of building supplies, 50 to 75 feet. So that's how they purchase things.
So will they take wood composite? What will they take if people wanted to donate it? What
So
do
all
you-
donations have to go through the town manager at this time. So we had a contractor that was donating either leftover, he built houses, leftover composite material or pieces that they couldn't use, so 5 feet or less. And he would always call the town manager, and the town manager would let me know, and I would go over and pick it up. And so the process that the town manager took, I believe, was just declaring it surplus after he got it, and then we could get it. But it does start at the town manager's request, but so I could tell you what's come in from as far as composite. Yes, anything composite, we wouldn't mind. And we've even taken used wood. So when you're changing out the deck, we only ask that you take the time to pull the screws out of it. And so as long
So
as
usable material,
yeah,
safe usable material.
anything over 4 feet, the size, we always cut everything down to 4 feet. So a little bit over 4 feet or 4 feet exactly, we can use that material. Yeah, so.
So you're talking decking boards, 4 by whatever, 2 by 6s.
6x6s, 4x4s, whatever. As long as they're still good.
Yes, if they're not like all twisted and stuff like that, yeah, we can take all that kind of material. We generally use at least 8-footers. So with the wood, pressure treated, yeah.
Any feedback from our application for the recal trail?
Not as of this meeting. I expected any
It's the end of the month, right?
Oh, I didn't know the exact date,
I
but
thought it actually said June 30th.
Oh.
I'll have to go back and look, but it's certainly the end of the month. And I don't remember if it's by the end of the month or at the end of the month.
yeah,
It's 2 letters either way.
we have two applications out there, crossing our fingers.
One for a vehicle and
Yeah.
for the trail. On the board.
Anything else? Do you want to make this a record? Short?
I think you already beat this time. I have
Pretty
nothing else.
close.
Okay, have a motion to adjourn at 8:15.
I move to adjourn this meeting at 8:15.
Walter Talbot's seconds, Walter
Oh,
Talbot's in
everybody in
favor.
favor? I forgot that's a wave. All right, thank you.
All right, good night, everyone. Be shutting down the meeting.
Well, I get the call.